to another awkward video lecture with Professor Reed in my messy sewing room. I have made so many technological failures today that I can't believe I'm even trying this anymore because I accidentally set my camera up so that it took a picture of me instead of taking a video the first time I tried to record this, and then my tripod slipped and I had a video of me talking for like 10 minutes with my head cut off. So I'm hoping that this one works and I can post it for you. Just learning so much about my failures with technology during this pandemic. I want to talk a little bit about revision, and then I want to give just a few kind of basic tips for public speaking, which might be something that you skip over if you're not interested in it, because we don't have technically an assignment related to this anymore as I've dropped it. But I still want to just give you some pointers if that's something that you feel like you need help with, because that's something I really wanted to cover in our class, but I think it's just too difficult to do in an online course that we weren't set up for at the beginning of the semester to do online. So these will be optional to engage with tips in public speaking. But first, just thinking a little bit about revision. I hope that you have been using the revision resources posted on our page. There are links to some activities that I have found really helpful and that students in the past have found extremely helpful. Also, don't forget about that PDF I uploaded with a lot of techniques and things that you can look for to help you revise. Something I really recommend is if you read about the passive voice stuff on that PDF, that can be a good thing to go back and look at your essay and look for instances of passive voice and see if you can change them to active voice. If you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to email me, because I know passive versus active voice can be a little confusing. And it's much harder, unfortunately, to show you when I'm not there with you in person. But please look over the PDF, and if you have questions about it, let me know. And I'm going to post more resources on passive versus active voice, hoping that will help you. Also, I want you to know, too, that when you are looking at these revisions and looking at your paper and thinking about what to change, I made this assignment with the intention that part of it is supposed to get you to be looking through your own writing and working on that skill of thinking about your own writing critically and changing it on your own, and thinking about what you think good writing is and trying to get your essay as close as you can to what you think a really great argument essay is based on what we've learned in the class, right? So I don't want you to only be revising based on my feedback. You should definitely take my feedback into consideration, right? Especially if I say you really need to do this and the feedback, you should do that. But you can be working on your revisions based on your own thoughts too, right? Not just mine, because part of this class is for you to learn how to be a good critic of your own work. So please know that I'm not just expecting you to go based off only my opinion. I'm grading these based on seeing that you have done your best to make significant changes that affect your paper positively. So I'm not going to be super, super harsh in grading your revisions. I'm not expecting things to be super perfect. I want to see that you are making an effort to change based on your own assessment and based on my feedback, but not based only on my feedback. I just want to clarify that, because I think that some people are getting a little nervous that they won't be following my feedback closely enough, and that's not what this assignment is about. My feedback should inform your revision, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're thinking about. You are the best judge of that, of how you can revise your paper for the best. And you might not believe that, but I do. I know that you can do it, because you guys have already taken 101 as well. You have so many revision skills already. A little tip from me to you too, if you are somebody who feels like you don't have enough content in your paper and you want to add things in as part of your revision, something that I have been finding very useful lately in my own writing, and this is different than academic writing, but I think that it can still apply here because I use all of these activities interchangeably for academic or creative writing. Something I've been doing is writing in my word processor, but changing my font color to white. This will sound really weird, but it allows me to not see what I'm writing as I'm writing. This is a great way to free write. It's a really great way to detach yourself from the outcome of what you're writing. And obviously you're not going to just like free write in your white font and then change it to black and turn that in without looking at it at all, but it can be a really great way to get your brain moving and generate some writing if you feel really, really stuck. So this is a technique I really encourage you to use if you just feel stuck, you don't know where to start. Start by making your font white so you can't look at your writing, you can't even judge it. You just keep writing and then you judge it later. And if you hate it, you don't have to use it. It's fine. I want to move on though to some public speaking tips, and I'm not going to go too in depth in this video, but I am going to keep posting tips like this, and I'm going to post links to resources on public speaking as well. Again, this is not related to any assignment anymore. We were going to have a presentation assignment, but we do not now. I just want to give you some tips because that was originally part of my vision for the class and part of what the class is supposed to fulfill according to the English department. I know that public speaking is maybe the number one fear among adults. It's very, very common to feel like you have a lot of trouble with it, so don't feel like you are alone if public speaking terrifies you. My biggest piece of advice to students is that preparation is maybe like 70% of success in public speaking. I know that that sounds like kind of boring teacher advice, but it's really, really, really true that the more that you prepare and the more that you practice, the better your presentations will always, always be. Because a good presentation or speech or whatever, anything that you deliver as a public address, right? It starts as a good piece of writing, but it's not only a good piece of writing. You have to rehearse it. Sorry, I heard my husband in the other room distracted me just a little bit. The more that you rehearse that, the more that you are likely to be successful when you stand up and deliver it. I have way too frequently in my reckless youth thought, I'm just going to look over this speech like one time and I know that I'll get up there and wing it and it will be fine. And this is always when my nerves kick in because I didn't prepare enough. I think that I'm going to be able to deliver something seamlessly, and then I kind of like lose my train of thought, go off book, and it gets a little weird. So I cannot emphasize enough how much preparing and going over a speech is important when it comes to public speaking. Something else I always recommend to people is to go slowly, especially if you're nervous. Something that a lot of people do when they're nervous is talk really, 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 really fast. I do this sometimes. Or I do it when I get excited and feel like I have a lot to say. This can lose your audience a little bit because they might not be able to understand what you're saying if you're going really quickly. But something to remember when you're doing public speaking is it will feel like you're talking really slowly if you try to consciously say things slowly. It doesn't feel like that to your audience. It feels slow to you because you're overthinking everything you do when you're public speaking. So I also advise to go as slowly as feels normal to you when you're speaking publicly. It's going to sound much more normal to the audience than it does to you. I'm going to keep giving you more tips in my video lectures. Basically, I want to do it as kind of like the ending button every time I'm going to end with some public speaking tips from me to you that I hope might be useful to you in the future if you have to do public speaking in other classes, or if you have, activities outside of class that require you to do public speaking. Hopefully this can be useful, but if these are not useful to you, you can just skip past this part of the video. It's totally fine. I won't be offended because I'll never know. But please let me know if you have questions about that. I have done quite a bit of public speaking in my time because I have been through a couple of master's programs and have had to do a lot of readings of my own work in public. So I am happy to share more tips and tricks, and if you have questions about anything concerning that or other assignments or revision techniques, please let me know. My internet access is back to normal now, so I should be able to answer emails quickly and upload content for you quickly. So keep questions coming. Please stay safe. Just let me know if you have issues with anything. I'm happy to help, and I will see you next week.